Kit Kats can read. Hey guys, and welcome to another video, and in today's video I am going to be sharing with you my May wrap up and my June TBR. So for the month of May it was really rubbish. I didn't even get to finish a book I was so close to, but I've just been so mentally exhausted this month. I have been incredibly busy with rehearsals and with work and everything. I just haven't had time to read. If I work a long shift at work, I come home and I'm so exhausted that I just go to bed and I fall asleep, and that's literally how it has been like nearly every day. I've been so exhausted, like more exhausted than usual, so I'm literally working my butt off. And so because of that I didn't get any books read. However, I've literally got like 30 pages left of The Smoke Thieves and I'm halfway through like 3 other books, so that might mean that June is going to be a really good month because then I could finish these books that I am in the middle of. So unfortunately May was rubbish, but I'm hoping that June is going to be better. So last month I was reading like 2 books at once. One was a review book, one was my own book. So for this month I'm doing something a little bit different. I've selected like around 10 books that are review books and 10 books that are my own books, so that I can, once I've read one of my own books, I can replace it with one of these books from said list, and the same with like the review book. Once I finish that review book, then I can replace that with another review book and just go from there. That way I'm reading 2 books at once, I'm getting enjoyment from 2 different books, hopefully enjoyment anyway. And yeah, it seems to be like really fun because I'm like sectioning them off around like 50 pages, so that should mean like one day I can read 50 pages of one, the next day I can read 50 pages of another, and so on and so forth. So without further ado, let's get started. I'm going to first of all begin with the book that I'm currently reading that is of my own books, and that is The Kissing Booth by Beth Reekles. This is the book that's also been made into a Netflix movie, so if you guys haven't seen it I suggest you go give it a watch because it's kind of cute if you really like your contemporary films. And so this is the book that's towards it. I am just past the halfway mark of this, so this is a book that I'll be reading as one of my own books, and then when I've read this I'm going to go on to one of these books that are in this list that I'm just about to let you know. So I'm going to now share with you 5 books that I selected from my garage downstairs, and these books I just went into different boxes and I looked at which book was sort of jumping out to me the most out of all of them, and these were the books. So first of all I went into my 18 books to read in 2018 box to see which book jumped out at me, and You Had Me at Hello by Mary McFarlane was a book that jumped out at me. Obviously June is the month, it's summer, so we want like summer reads, contemporary reads, chick lits and that sort of thing, so I was really looking forward to picking out books that had those sort of things in. And yes, it's a chick litty sort of novel. It seems like it's going to have a little bit of sadness in it as well, and one of the characters is called Ben, so I kind of picked this book as well. If you guys have read this, do let me know down below what you thought about it, because it'd be interesting to know. So yes, I'm very excited about this one. And then I selected a book out of one of the random boxes and I picked out The Moment of Letting Go by J.A. Redmersky. So this is her, I think it's a new adult novel and I have yet to read it. Obviously I love J.A. Redmersky, I'm really excited about it, and it feels like it's going to be an interesting summer read, as it kind of mentions a sexy surfer in it, and obviously surfing I think of summer, so I'm really excited about this one. Next of all, I selected out of the books I would like to reread, I selected Illuminae by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff, because I kind of flew through this book and I need to get it reread so that I can read the second book. This is my art copy, by the way, that's why it looks so big, because the published copy literally looks like that thick. So yeah, I definitely want to give this a reread so that I can continue and read Gemina. So yeah, I'm looking forward to rereading this. Then I looked into one of my adult boxes and I picked out Operation Sunshine by Jenny Colgan. Sunshine, summer, and there's like beach stuff going on and it's yellow and it's very summery and it says a perfect sun lounger read, so yes, and it's about this girl that needs a really good holiday and so do I. So I thought this would be absolutely perfect to plonk on to my TBR. And the last book that I selected out of my garage downstairs is Love and Gelato by Jenna Evans Welch. Again, another summer read, ice cream. We of course associate ice cream with summer, and yes, it says it was a summer of secrets. So again, I'm really looking forward to giving this book a read. So these next couple of books I also started in the month of May, but I got like halfway through them, and because I was currently reading The Smoke Thieves and the Kissing Booth, I sort of put them to one side. So this is When Dimple Met Rishi by Sandra Menon. And I am just before the halfway point, chapter 23 on page 151. So this could be a book to read just after the Kissing Booth. This would be perfect. I still remember everything that goes on in this book, and I still am really enjoying this. So it would be good to continue on with this one in June. And the other book, I am past the halfway mark in this. So again, this could be another really good book to read as well. And this is Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare, the first book that's in the Infernal Devices trilogy, and as you can see, past the halfway mark. So yes, and again, I still remember everything in this book, and I am really enjoying this one too. And then I selected a book from the shelf back here, and it's a kids book, but I am excited to read it all the same. This book is Kittens in the Kitchen by Lucy Daniels. This is the first book that's in the Animal Arc series, which was a childhood series when I was a kid. I absolutely loved it. I was obsessed and I really wanted to be a vet. It's a really short book and I loved it when I was younger, and I can't wait to dive back into this world again. I am so excited. Next of all, if I read Clockwork Angel, then I'll be going on to City of Fallen Angels by Cassandra Clare, which is book number 4. That is in the Mortal Instruments series. Again, I'm doing a read along for this series. I'm behind by a couple of months now. That was due to happen because I moved into my own flat and then I had things going on. I've been really busy, and I've been having to read review books just so that I can read them before published and that sort of thing. So if I have time, then I definitely want to give this book a read. And the last book that is out of like my own books pile is a book that won the viewer's choice that I set up in the month of May. So you guys picked I Love Happily Ever After by Stephanie Perkins as a viewer's choice winner. It was the most popular. I put a poll on Twitter because Dorothy Must Die was drawing with it on YouTube, so I left it down to you guys on Twitter, and this was the winning book after the poll, which lasted literally a day. So I'm going to be diving into this definitely in June because this was your viewer's choice. So this will be a definite read in June, and I'm really excited to get this book read. So that is the pile of the books I own. Now I'm going to move on to the pile of review books. So the first review book that I've got on my list is Good and Gone by Megan Fraser Blakemore. So this, I think, is like a road trippy sort of novel, but I got this review a few months ago. It came out November last year, but they had some backlisted stuff and they were just like, does anybody want to read and review these? And I was like, yes please. So I've got this one to review. Then I have got Always Forever Maybe by Anika Rose Reese, which is coming out at the very beginning of June, around like the 5th. And yet again, another contemporary, and I look forward to giving this one a read. And then I have got All These Beautiful Strangers by Elizabeth Cleforth, and this is another review book that I've got. It doesn't actually come out until July, but I would like to get this read. I know I did put this book on last month's TBR, but as you know, I didn't get around to reading it, so it would be good if I could read this definitely. The next I've got is The Wonder of Us by Kim Culbertson. I am loving the flip-flops and it's making me feel like summer, and I'm so excited to give this book a read because, you know, summery contemporary, I'm all for it, so I look forward to this one too. This next book sounds absolutely amazing. It's a book that I recently hauled, and this is Night of the Party by Tracy Mathias, and this just sounds really awesome, and it's different, and that's what I like about it, so I feel like I'm going to really enjoy this one. Next review book that I've got is Scythe by Neil Schusterman. I've been hearing massive things about this book, so when I was offered it for review I was like, yes please, I'm so excited about it, and I've heard really good things, so I'm really looking forward to this book. The next book I've got here is Suicide Club by Rachel Heng. Again, it's another interesting sort of book, and yeah, it just sounds really awesome, and I'm so super excited. This book doesn't actually come out until July as well, but again, like I say, I want to get ahead on my review books, and it's a recent review book that's coming as well. And yeah, I just think it sounds interesting. And the last physical review book I've got here is Eve of Man by Giovanna and Tom Fletcher, which is definitely going to be the next read that I am going to begin, and the first read of June for the review books. I've been very highly anticipating this book, and when I actually had it come, I was so surprised, and I'm just so in awe, and I'm so grateful. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to giving this a read, seeing what it's like. I'm so excited, like you have no idea. And then I've got a couple of ebook review copies that I've chosen from this month. The first of which is Crossing the Line by Simone Elkley, so I put the picture over here. And then the other book is Bookshop Girl by Chloe Coles. And these books come out in June, pretty much like the second week of June, so it would be good to sort of get these read and reviewed as well. So guys, as always with every month, I look downstairs at some challenges like the TBR jar challenge, as well as the 52-week challenge, and I've also got my monthly recommendations bowl challenge that I'm using, and I've also got like my TBR bowl for my own books, and I got one for ebooks, and I got one for like archived review books, like ebooks that I haven't got around to reading. So I normally try and pick one out of each of these, and so these are the books that I have come out with. So with the 52-week challenge and the TBR jar challenge, I've tried to incorporate those with the books in my TBR, which I've already mentioned. So first of all, the ebook that I pulled out of my ebook jar, and this is out of my own ebooks that I've got, is The Midnights, and this is by Sarah Nicole Smetana, and this is the cover here. Sorry if that's like really bright. So I've got that as an ebook, which I am going to be picking and choosing from in the month of June. Now for the archived review copy, the book that actually came out was Golden Sun, which is a book that's during this series, and I haven't actually read the first book yet, so I'm going to also put the first book towards my TBR, and that is The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. This one doesn't have an actual picture because I also had The Bone Season for review on NetGalley, so that was quite handy as well. So that would be my archived e-review book. So the physical book that came out of my physical TBR jar is Black Ice by Becca Fitzpatrick. So this is quite good that this has come up, because I feel like I've also got this as an e-review book at some point. And yes, I've had this book for quite a while, so it's good that I've picked this book out of my jar, and I'm actually kind of intrigued to give this book a read, so hopefully I do get around to reading this in the month of June. The book that came out of my monthly recommendations jar I'm really excited about, and that is The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. So I'm so excited that this book has come out, because it was on so many people's top books of 2017, and I have been meaning to try and get around to reading this, so I'm hoping that in the month of June I get around to giving it a read, because I just want to see what all of the fuss is about. This next book I'm going to add to my TBR because it was a challenge that I had towards May, which I never actually put towards any books, so I'm adding this book to my TBR now, and I've chosen Leah on the Offbeat by Becky Orbitali, and the challenge is to read an LGBTQIA+ novel, and obviously that's got this in it, and I've been meaning to get around to reading this book as well, so I'm plonking it on this TBR. This next challenge is to read a book that is about death and grief, and this challenge was also towards May, which I never put towards a book. And so for this one I put Suicide Club by Rachel Heng. It pretty much says it in the name, and on the back here it says, in the near future New York, life expectancy averages 300 years, so it's got death in it. So I thought that that was perfect to go towards that challenge. The next challenge is to read a book with aliens in it. Again, this was a challenge meant for May, so I picked Illuminae by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff because obviously it's based in space, and with space you're gonna get other creatures and beings, so I thought this would be perfect. This next challenge is to read a book from an author that you love and you haven't read yet, so for this one I put the book The Moment of Letting Go by J.A. Redmersky. She's an author I love and I haven't got around to reading this book, so I thought this was perfect to go towards this challenge. And this book I believe also was a challenge from May as well. And then I've got a book set in a school, so for that one I did put The Kissing Booth by Beth Rickles, which I did start last month, so it goes towards that challenge from last month, so I can read this in June. So for this month I have a challenge to read a popular author's debut, which luckily I'm currently in the middle of reading, so I thought this would be perfect, and that is When Dimple Met Rishi by Senja Menon. This was her debut novel, and she's quite popular with this novel as well because this book just went literally everywhere, so I thought this would be perfect for this month's challenge. The next challenge is to read a book with a blue cover or spine. This book was perfect because it's literally blue everywhere, and this is Love and Gelato by Jenna Evans Welch, which I have selected towards my TBR, which goes perfectly towards this challenge. The next challenge is to read a childhood favourite, so for this one I selected Kittens in the Kitchen by Lucy Daniels, book number 1 in the Animal Arc series, so I thought this went perfect for this challenge. The next challenge is to read an adult chick lit, so for this one I put Operation Sunshine by Jenny Colgan, an adult chick lit, so it was perfect. And the last challenge is to read a book that's by 2 authors, so this was perfect really. Eve of Man by Giovanna and Tom Fletcher, so it's 2 authors that have made this book, so I thought this would be good to go towards this one. So there you have it guys, those are books that I've chosen towards some challenges, and obviously I brought another couple of books into the TBR. Like I say, I'm not going to be picking and choosing and reading all of these, it's just going to be a random selection, and if I manage to get the book read then that's perfect, but all in all, if I manage to read all of these books I'd have to literally read one of these every day, and that is very near to impossible, as we all know how busy I am and especially how crap last month was. So really it's just to kind of like make a little exciting TBR of books and just to see how I go about it, especially because I've got a vast selection of books and I can just pick and choose from it, and it just makes me feel really good that I can do it that way. So there you have it guys, those are 2 piles of books, some review books, some of my own books. I'm going to be reading 2 at a time, 1 from each pile. When one is read it will be replaced and so on and so forth. I'm going to see how this goes. Hopefully I do really enjoy it. If I find that it doesn't work then I'll just read 1 at a time, like 1 review book, 1 of my own book and so on and so forth, but I am really enjoying reading 2 at once again. Just think it's pretty awesome. And yes, so I'm very excited for this TBR. Do let me know down below in the comments if you have read any of these books that I've mentioned in today's video, as I would like to know all of your thoughts. Also let me know what books you guys are going to be reading in the month of June as well. But I hope you guys are going to have an absolutely fantastic day. Keep smiling, keep reading and be happy. My name is Katie and I'll see all of you wonderful awesome people in my next video. Bye!